It was a Tuesday, September 11th, 2001. I remember thinking it was going to be just like any other day. I was a kid then, going to school in New York City. My biggest worry was acing a math test, not the world changing forever. School started like always. We were buzzing about the latest video game or some silly school gossip. I think we were about to start math class. Then everything changed. The principal's voice boomed through the intercom, but it wasn't the usual morning announcements. It was serious, urgent. He told us to stay calm. Something was happening. We didn't know what to make of it. Some kids giggled nervously, others whispered questions to each other. The teachers looked worried. I remember my teacher, Miss Johnson, clutching her desk like she was trying to hold herself together. The whispers started slowly. Kids were saying something about a plane and the World Trade Center. I didn't understand. I pictured a little Cessna bumping into a building. I couldn't imagine what the big deal was. Miss Johnson turned on the small TV we had in the corner. We huddled around, the static crackling in the tense silence. Then we saw it. The image that would be seared into our memories forever, smoke billowing from one of the Twin Towers. It felt surreal, like a scene from a disaster movie. Miss Johnson told us to remain calm. She said everything would be okay, but her voice shook as she spoke. I could tell even she didn't believe her own words. Then it happened. We watched, our eyes glued to the television as the second plane hit. This time there was no mistaking it. This wasn't an accident. This was an attack. The room went silent. No one spoke. We watched in horror as smoke and debris engulfed the towers, and then the towers fell. One after the other, they crumbled into a cloud of dust and ash. I remember feeling a pit in my stomach. The world felt like it was tilting on its axis. Nothing would ever be the same. The school went into lockdown. We were trapped, our young minds trying to process the unimaginable. We were told to call our parents, but the lines were jammed. Fear and confusion hung heavy in the air. Section 4. War movies versus real life. Before that day, my understanding of war was limited to movies and video games. It was all a game, a story with clear heroes and villains. It was something that happened far away, not in our backyard. But on 9/11, war became real. It wasn't a movie. It was happening right before our eyes, in our city. The lines between fiction and reality blurred. The danger felt immediate and terrifying. This wasn't a distant battleground. This was home. And for the first time, I understood the true meaning of fear, the kind that grips your heart and sends chills down your spine. Section 5. A city in shock. Eventually, they let us leave school. Stepping outside, the city that never sleeps was eerily quiet. The usual cacophony of car horns and sirens was replaced by a stunned silence. Across the street from my school was a blood bank. A long line of people snaked around the block, waiting patiently to donate. Their faces were etched with a mix of fear, determination, and a strange sense of unity I'd never witnessed before. The air was thick with dust and the smell of something burning. It felt like the entire city was holding its breath, waiting to see what would happen next. Section 6. Walking home through a changed city. My walk home was usually filled with the sounds of the city car horns, blaring music spilling out of shops, people chatting on their phones. But that day, there was only an eerie silence. Every few steps, I would see strangers embracing, tears streaming down their faces. The fear in their eyes mirrored my own. We were all united in our grief and uncertainty. My mind raced with questions. Why? Who would do such a thing? What would happen next? I was too young to fully grasp the magnitude of what had transpired, but I knew that life as we knew it had changed forever. Section 7. The long shadow of that day. The events of 9/11 left an indelible mark on my soul as they did on millions of others. It was a brutal awakening to the fragility of life and the ever-present threat of hatred and violence. But in the midst of the darkness, I also witnessed incredible acts of courage, compassion, and resilience. The way New Yorkers came together to support one another, to rebuild our city and our lives, was a testament to the enduring human spirit. 9/11 was a day of profound loss and unimaginable pain, but it also taught me the importance of unity, the power of hope, and the enduring strength of the human spirit. And those are lessons I will carry with me forever.